Hi students, hope you all are fine and staying safe at your homes. Today we have to discuss second unit of your business studies, that is principles of management. This is a very important topic which I have to start today. So be prepared, get your registers and note down the important points so that it will be helpful in making your assignments. Nowadays business has so many wider dimensions. As a result of this, number of problems are arising in day-to-day work. And the manager of the company or the organization has to solve these problems. So some guidelines are required with the help of which a manager can solve his routine problems and run the enterprise smoothly and efficiently. Management principles guide the manager in solving different problems which are arising in routine activities. So, principles of management are the statements of fundamental truth which provide guidelines to managers for effective decision making and action under different situations. Principles of management are guidelines to action, while the functions which we had discussed in previous chapter like planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling are the actions to be taken while practicing management. Principles help managers to take decisions while taking actions to achieve desired results in the organization. These principles are basically broad and general guidelines for making efficient decisions and for the behavior of managers. These principles have been developed on the basis of regular observation and experimentation as well as personal experiences of the managers itself. And management principles are not rigid as the principles of natural sciences like physics, chemistry, biology, because principles of management deal with human behavior, and that's why these are to be applied creatively and specifically according to the demand of the situations. So this is all about principles of management. Now we have to discuss the features and significance of these principles of management. So these features are like first feature is general guidelines. The principles of management act only as guidelines for decision making and taking action. However, they don't provide ready-made solution to all managerial problems. This is so because real business situations are very complicated and dynamic and are result of many factors. So these are the general guidelines which simply guides the manager to take decisions in different situations. Second is universal applicability. These principles are universal in nature. That is, these are universally applicable to all types of organization, whether these are business organization or non-business, small as well as large, at all levels and at all the times, everywhere. These principles of management are universally acceptable and applicable. However, the extent and nature of applicability of principles may vary according to the nature and size of the organization. Next is formed by practice and experimentation. So these principles are not developed overnight. Within one night, these are not developed. These are the results of regular observation and continuous experimentation. For example, in order to remedy the problem of fatigue, thakavat, of workers in the factory, an experiment may be conducted to see the effect of improvement of physical conditions so that their stress can be reduced. In this way, these principles of management are formed by practice and experimentation. Next feature is flexibility, that is flexible. These principles of management are not rigid. I had already told you, as these are affected by human behavior, so these are flexible, which have to be followed absolutely, not rigid so much. These are flexible so that these can be modified by the manager when the situation so demands. Next is mainly behavioral. Management principles are mainly related to behavior of human beings in nature, because these aim at influencing the behavior of human beings. Moreover, principles of management enable a better understanding of the relationship between physical factors of production and human factors, that is, employees and the material machines required. Next is cause and effect relationship. Management principles establish a relationship between cause and effect so that these can be used in similar situations in a large number of cases. When a particular principle is applied to a specific situation, is known as cause, and the result of applying this principle is called effect. For example, there is one principle in management, that is unity of command, according to which if one person is receiving order from his immediate boss, then he can fulfill his all the duties. He will obey and do his targeted task. But if he is getting orders from so many bosses, then he will not be able to complete anyone's work. So this principle states that there should be one boss who's ordering subordinates, one subordinate. So with applying this principle, the subordinate will do his work carefully. This is the effect. So there must be cause and effect relationship between the situations. Next is contingent, that is their careful application. The application of management principles is dependent upon the prevailing situation at a specific point of time, and the application of principle has to be changed according to the requirements. For employees, for example, we can say employees deserve fair and just remuneration. But उनके लिए कितना उचित है, what is just and fair, it is determined by so many factors like their contribution, paying capacity of employer, and other considerations. So there are so many factors which affect. So that's why these principles are contingent, that is, these are applied carefully according to the demand of the situations. So these are the features of principles of management which we have discussed till now. Now we'll discuss the significance, importance of these principles of management. The principles of management are in form of predetermined solutions, which are ready-made solutions for the managers when they are facing routine problems while managing the enterprises. They guide the manager. So it is very important for every manager to know them thoroughly. There are some reasons for this. That is, number one is providing manager with useful insight into reality. The principles of management make the manager aware about the manner in which they should act in different situations so that they don't repeat the mistakes of the previous managers. In this way, time to time guidance when they are getting, this timely guidance reduces the wastage of resources and objectives can be achieved in an efficient manner. For example, a manager can leave routine decision making to his subordinates and deal with very important cases which require his more attention. Next point of importance is optimum utilization of resources and effective administration. Optimum utilization of resources means that the human and material resources should be put to use in such a way that they should give maximum benefit with minimum cost. Principles of management equip the managers so that they can foresee the cause and effect relationships of their decisions and action. Means if they are taking this decision, what actions they have to take, and in such a way wastage is reduced and effective administration can be done. And third point is scientific decisions. Scientific decision means logical. It means a balanced decision. The principle of management provides the necessary training to the managers so that they can take logical decisions, timely logical decisions. Next is meeting changing environmental requirements. In modern times, in these days, we know very well that only such a business unit will survive and alive and develop, which will keep moving with the rapidly changing environment. In every field of business activity, whether it is production, marketing, finance or purchase, newer techniques are emerging every day. So a manager who can understand the changing situation well in time can alone face competition successfully. So principles of management helps the managers to face these challenges. Next point of importance is fulfilling social responsibility. The principles of management increase the efficiency of managers and make them able to fulfill their responsibility towards the society. More efficient managers can make good quality products at fair prices and which are available at all the times according to the convenience of the consumers. Last is management, training, education and research. Management principles are used as a basis for management training, education and research by providing the basic groundwork for the development of management as a discipline, that is as a new subject we can say. Entrance to management institutes is preceded by management aptitude test. And professional courses such as MBA, that is Master of Business Administration, and BBA, Bachelor of Business Administration, also teach these principles as part of their curriculum at learning stage. Newer management techniques like operations research, cost accounting, lean manufacturing, Six Sigma, these are also developed due to research on the principles of management. The principles of management are actually providing education and training to the managers by enriching their theoretical and practical knowledge. So, till now we had discussed in details about principles of management, its features and their significance, that is importance, due to which we can know that these principles of management are very much needed to run any organization. Now, after discussing features and significance, we will discuss Fayol's principles of management. That is, these are also known as fundamental principles of management. There are so many experts in the field of management, and different management experts have explained different principles on the basis of their research. Henry Fayol, who was a famous industrialist of France, has described 14 principles of management in his book, that is General and Industrial Management. And these 14 principles which are given by him in his book are known as fundamental principles of management. Since this contribution is from Henry Fayol, that's why these are also as Fayol's principles of management. So these are 14 in number. We'll discuss. First principle is division of work. According to this principle, he has told us that work should be divided into small tasks, that is in different parts, and each individual should be assigned one part of it so that the work will be done effectively and efficiently, and the person who is doing it regularly become an expert of it. For example, a bank involves several operations, that is different operations, so many operations like cash collection, payment of cash, issue of checkbooks, issuing passbooks, and so many other functions. All these activities are performed by different persons. So this is division of work, as it improves their efficiency and makes them specialists in their concerned fields. Next principle is authority and responsibility. According to this principle, authority is basically the right to take action, right of a superior, senior person, so that he can give orders to his subordinates. And responsibility, whereas it simply means an obligation to carry out an assigned job on time. जो काम कहा गया उसे टाइम पर पूरा करना, that is responsibility. So according to Fayol, authority and responsibility should go hand in hand. It means when a particular person is given any work to do, then he should be made responsible for the results only and only if he is given authority to perform these activities. For example, suppose the production manager of a company manufacturing scooters asks his foreman to achieve a target production of 500 scooters per day. But he does not give him the authority to get tools and materials from stores department. Then the foreman is not able to achieve the target. So in this case, the production manager cannot blame the foreman if he has not achieved the target, because he does not give him the authority to get tools and materials from stores department. So here, according to this principle of authority and responsibility, when an employee is given responsibility for a job, he must also be given the degree of authority necessary to carry it out. Next principle is discipline. Discipline means the obedience to organizational rules and employment agreement, which is necessary for working of the organization. According to Fayol, discipline requires good superiors, seniors at all levels, whether it is top level, middle level or lower level of management. Clear and fair agreements, and if rules are not followed, then provision of penalties and punishment should also be there. Next principle is principle of unity of command. It simply states unity of command. According to this principle, one person should receive orders from one boss at a time, and that person should be answerable only to that superior or senior in case of completion of his job. I had drawn a diagram for explaining this principle. There are two approaches. One is right approach and second is wrong approach. According to right approach, what should be the case? A is senior or we can say boss, where B1, B2 and B3, these three are the subordinates who are having their manager A. B1 gets order only from A, and the same B2 and B3 also, whenever they will get orders, they will also get orders from only and only A. This is the right approach, that one man, one boss. They will do their work carefully. In second diagram, in next diagram, that is given by wrong approach, where two seniors, that is A and C, are the managers, and B1, B2, B3 are under their observation, that is their subordinates. In that picture, A1, A manager is giving instruction to B1 and B2, and C has to give instructions to B2 and B3. But instead of following that principle, C is giving instructions to B2, जबकि B को इंस्ट्रक्शन सिर्फ और सिर्फ A से मिलनी चाहिए, B1 को भी A से मिलनी चाहिए. जब B2 को A भी इंस्ट्रक्शन देगा, C भी इंस्ट्रक्शंस देगा, तो वो किसी का काम पूरा टाइम पर नहीं कर पाएगा. इसलिए if one man will be given order from his immediate boss, only in that situation they can contribute their efficiency and effective results. Next principle is unity of direction. These are very important principles of management. Unity of command principle, if it is not followed, then the employees will not do the work which is assigned by their seniors. They will be careless. So next is unity of direction. Unity of direction simply means that there should be one head and one plan for a group of activities. Those activities whose objective is same. For example, suppose we can say any automobile company, if it is manufacturing two products, bikes and cars, so having two divisions, as each product has its own markets and problems, therefore these two divisions must have their own heads. Only one head will not look after their matters. Bike division and car division are having their own heads because they will follow their head's plan. Next is subordination of individual interest to general interest. According to this principle, the interest of an organization should be taken as priority over the interest of individual employee. Every worker has some personal interest for working in a company. Company has got its own objectives. For example, the company would want to get maximum output from their employees at minimum cost, that is the salary of the employees. On the second side, we can say an employee wants to get maximum salary while working the least. So in another situation, an individual employee may demand some concession which is not admissible to any other employee, like working for less time. So in all the situations, the interest of the company will supersede the interest of any one individual. This is why, because larger interest of the workers and the interested parties of business are more important than the interest of a single person. A manager can ensure this by his very good behavior. For example, he should not fall into the temptation of misusing his powers for individuals, family benefit at the cost of larger general interest of the company. So now next principle is principle of scalar, principle of remuneration to employees. According to this principle, the overall pay and compensation remuneration which employees are getting should be fair to both of the interested parties, that is for employees and organization. Employees should be given fair wages. At least a reasonable standard of living may be provided with that salary. Next is centralization and decentralization. Centralization, that is every step which goes to decrease the role of subordinates in the organization is known as centralization. Whereas every step which goes to increase the role of subordinates in the organization is known as decentralization. So superiors, authorities should adopt effective centralization instead of complete centralization and complete decentralization. उन्हें effective centralization adopt करना चाहिए. Next principle is principle of scalar chain. Now what is this scalar chain? Scalar chain is a formal line as shown in the diagram of authority and communication from top to bottom. According to this principle of scalar chain, employees have to follow a strict path to communicate. That is, a formal lines of authority from highest to lowest ranks should be followed. Organization must have this chain of authority so that communications will move from top to bottom. For example, according to this diagram, A is the manager, whereas B, C, D, E, F, G are the subordinates. On the other hand side, that is H, I, J, K, L, M. They are also subordinates who are working under A. In this situation, if F wants to communicate to L, that is on other side at same level, then he cannot contact to him directly. What does he do? F has to contact to E, then E has to contact to D, then D to C, C to B, and B will communicate to A. And after that, A will communicate that message to H, then I, then to J, then to K, and ultimately to L. In this way, they can't make direct contact. They have to follow this chain of relationship. This is the principle of scalar chain. But in case of emergency, Fuel has also introduced the term gangplank. In any case of emergency, if communication has to be made, any important message is to be communicated, then they can contact directly. Then 10th principle is principle of order. According to this principle, right man should be at right job according to his qualifications and right thing at right place. फाइल जो होनी चाहिए वो समय पर उसी जगह पर रखी होनी चाहिए जहां उन्होंने पहले उसे मैनेज किया था. So right man at right job and right thing at right place so that minimum time will be utilized. Next is principle of equity. Managers should treat their subordinates as fairly as possible. They shouldn't distinguish between their employees. They have to treat all the workers equally and fairly. It emphasizes kindness and justice in the behavior of managers towards their employees. They shouldn't discriminate between men and women employees. Next principle is stability of personnel. Personnel means employees. there should be stability of tenure. This is stability of tenure of personnel. उनकी कार्य करने की अवधि of the employees to show their results efficiently. They should not be changed again and again. Once the employees are selected, they should be kept at their post or position for a minimum fixed period of time. This is tenure. Next is principle of initiative. Principle of initiative simply tells that workers should be encouraged to develop and carry out their plans for improvement. They should come ahead. Initiative means taking the first step with self-motivation. Initiative among the workers' employees should be encouraged. Next is the last principle, that is principle of esprit de corps. This is French phrase that is synonymous of team spirit. So manager should replace I with we in all his conversation. He has to work with his team cooperatively, collectively, because it will give rise to a spirit of mutual trust and belongingness among team members. So management should promote teamwork, especially in large organizations. So this is all about principles of management, which are treated as Fayol's principles or general principles of management. Hope you have got it. Now as far as questions for practice, I'll send you in WhatsApp groups, as this lecture is going to be lengthy. ठीक है? It's okay बच्चे. Take care. Bye.